Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With internet. Did not have internet yesterday, but we are back. We are back here on the Morning Slam podcast. Here live on YouTube. It's supposed to be every Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You know the deal, right? But yeah, internet was out yesterday. We had some weather yesterday, so internet was out due to like maintenance or whatnot. But anyway, we're back here live here on YouTube. Also uploaded right after on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts here. But YouTube is the main place to be. Please click that subscribe button, turn on notifications bell. You guys know what to do here on the YouTube platform. Like leave a thumbs up. Oh yeah, I don't know, right? Do all that there. So I really guys appreciate you guys coming out to Friday stream here. We got a lot of news to cover here, and also we have some news. Well, not news per se. I mean, but just some discussion for the WWE Fastlane Preview here, and also as well we'll be talking about AEW versus NXT next week, what it set up. This may be a little bit old news to you guys, but since I wasn't here yesterday, I want to give my thoughts about that. Then also as well, we have some today's news as well. Meltzer star ratings. I just got the match ratings themselves. I did not see what the internet speculation is like, and I can probably tell you on a couple of these matches here. On there's gonna be some conversation about that on my side where I'm like, I don't know about that. But there's also other news, update on Sammy Guevara, update on who Adam Copeland would like to face in Japan. We have some Jim Ross news, some Adam Cole news, which I checked out his Twitch yesterday. So there's something I got to talk about that as well. So we got a lot of news here today. And, there's one, I won't say big news story. I mean, it's a story that we already are speculating already. But there is a development with a possible returning former WWE superstar to the company. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a coffee. If you're on the school bus, if you're on the way to work, listen to me on the way to work. I really appreciate that. Get safe to work or school or to wherever you got to go. So enjoy your weekend out there. There's a lot of things in our lives that we can that we don't like, that we don't want to have to deal with or whatnot. But I will say that professional wrestling at the end of the day is a good getaway. At the end of the day, guys, it is just pro wrestling. Let's all just enjoy it together. So before we begin here, this podcast is sponsored by my company here of Spinebuster Tees and spinebustertees.com. Get the hardcore wrestling t-shirt. Also, as well, we have the Weapons of Pro Wrestling t-shirt, the Vanilla Midget t-shirt. We have the Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt and a t-shirt as well that I think is going to be everyone should go out and buy today. Because it is relevant. The Meltzer star rating t-shirt. I don't call it the Meltzer star rating t-shirt. It's called the star rating t-shirt. But we know what it is on there. So that's one of my favorite designs ever made. So yeah, all designs I made myself. It takes about a week and a half, more or less, to get to you if you are inside the United States, the lower 48. But that is Spinebuster Tees and spinebustertees.com. All right, guys. Well, there's a lot of news out there. I'm going to start off with what is going on with AEW versus NXT next week. It looks like to me that these cards here are not finalized as of yet, especially on the NXT side. I haven't seen anything else different from NXT since Tuesday as far as the card itself. But we're going to go over AEW's card, and we're going to go over NXT's card for Tuesday coming up here. Because if you guys live out of rock, AEW is going to be on Tuesday next week because they are preempted to do so for the MLB playoffs. And, they're going to be on TBS. Yes, they're going to be on TBS. So they're not moving from TBS and going to TNT. They're just still going to be on TBS. But regardless of all that, they decided to put this card together versus NXT. And also as well, we're going to be going over the ratings and why people are so tribalistic about the ratings. Like, oh, NXT got a good one. NXT got one over AEW. Like, I don't get that. But yeah, so next week's Dynamite is as follows as far as matches are concerned. You got Chris Jericho versus Powerhouse Hobbs. You got Saraya versus Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. You got Jon Moxley versus Rey Fenix for Part 3 for the International Championship. You got Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. Wow. You got Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus. Adam Copeland's very first ever match in AEW. And you got Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. Number one contenders match for the TNT Championship. So this right here is just a stacked card full of dynamic wrestling matches. I think the weaker ones, I think the people that may be tuning into maybe NXT during that time, depending on what NXT has on, is maybe the Saraya and Shida. Maybe. I don't think a lot of people want to see that match again. And Chris Jericho versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm not saying that Hikaru Shida and Saraya wrestle each other a lot, but I mean, they were in that fatal 4-way match for the AEW Women's Championship at All In. So it's like, I don't know if I want to really see that. I think that's probably one where people may change the channel on. Just be speculating. You know what I mean? I don't know, right? Maybe Chris Jericho, Powerhouse Hobbs, maybe. But it's really going to be hard to turn away from Ray Fix and Jon Moxley, Jay White and Hangman, Adam Copeland's first match versus Luchasaurus, and Swerve versus Bryan Danielson. Like, those 4 matches right there are all, to be pay-per-view type matches that they're having on Dynamite. So that's Dynamite. Let's talk about NXT real quick. NXT has Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes with Paul Heyman in Braun Breaker's corner, and John Cena in the corner of Carmelo Hayes. You got Roxanne Perez taking on Asuka, and you got Cody Rhodes there making a special announcement. That's for NXT. So AEW as of right now has more. NXT has 2 major matches, but outside of that is Cody. Now, John Cena, one of the biggest names of all time. Cody Rhodes, one of the biggest names today. So it's really depending on what you're looking for. If you are a WWE casual, you're watching NXT, you don't even care what's going on with AEW. If you're a guy like me that watches both and appreciates both and loves wrestling in general, you're going to be possibly flipping back and forth. It really just depends what's on your TV screen at that time. Me personally, I think NXT is going to kill AEW in the ratings. I'm expecting maybe a 1.2 million, possibly. I think that with Cena and Cody on there, and you got Paul Heyman there too as well, and you got Asuka, and also the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is going to be there in some fashion. You know that Dominic's going to be there in some fashion with Rhea Ripley. I expect a 1.2 million. That means that they are getting an additional, 350,000 viewers. Is that possible? It's definitely possible. It is definitely possible. I believe in John Cena. I believe in Cody. The little kids, they want to see anything that Cody does. Even though that Cody may only be there to announce the Dusty Cup, which is fine. I understand. He says he has a major announcement to make. It may just be the Dusty Cup. John Cena being there. I think it's only his second time on NXT TV. Cody's first time on NXT TV. And we still got more to go. We got SmackDown tonight. You never know. You never know on who is going to show up or who is going to come in on SmackDown night to set up for NXT on Tuesday. I expect a couple more things to be announced before the show. If they're going to go with these 3 things, great. AEW is solidified. There's going to be, promo segments, every now, to be inserted in there. But AEW looks firmly set up. I can see 2 hours right there. I can see at least an hour and maybe 20 minutes for those 5 matches there. Because some of these matches are going to be shorter. I don't expect Chris Jericho and Hobbs to go 20 minutes. I don't expect Saraya and Shida to go 15 minutes, right? I expect Jay White and Heyman to go 20 minutes. I expect Swerve and Danielson to go 20 minutes. Luchasaurus and Adam Copeland, the whole segment may go up to 20 minutes. The match probably go 15, right? So, AEW looks solidified. NXT, not quite. That's not 2 hours. What else can we get on here to spice things up a little bit? You should have something. You should announce something with Dominic Mysterio. Or something. Even though he's been on the show for a while. Announce Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is going to be there too. So announce Becky Lynch. Remind people that Becky Lynch is on the show on NXT. Remind people that Dominic is on the show as well, right? And that'll get people to tune in. But NXT doesn't look like NXT next week. It doesn't. NXT does not look like NXT next week. It doesn't at all. Because you have, mostly main roster stars on the show. Being featured on the show. Paul Heyman is not NXT. John Cena is not NXT. Asuka is not NXT. Cody is not NXT. Despite what title she has around her waist, Becky Lynch ain't NXT. Dominic is not NXT. Even though they have the belts, they're not NXT. They're just not. Not no more. Dominic was never NXT. Becky Lynch was NXT, 8 years ago. But it's going to be very interesting next week. You got people like WWE Gareth on Twitter who just thinks that, whatever that WWE does, they can't do no wrong. And, fuck AEW and this and the other. Then you got another guy. I think it's Draymaker. I think he's pro AEW, but like he kind of gives a little props to WWE at times. From what I know, it's a little bit, not a lot, but I see that he's just pro AEW. He's like, Dynamite next week is gonna be great, and this and that's fine. Dynamite is gonna be great next week, but it's just like, let's stop the tribalism, guys. Like, and again, that's one thing I will be talking about a lot here on this podcast is tribalism in pro wrestling. Like, stop it. It's not that serious. Like, let's have fun with it. Yes, you can prefer one over the other. That's cool. But let's have fun with that at the end of the day and not just be so tribalistic. And speaking of that, we're moving on to even more tribalistic things. Yesterday, Dynamite released their viewership at 800,000. They had an 18 to 49 demographic at a .28. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Dynamite did not get the viewership due to the way that I think it was either like Spectrum or AT&T or something like that. On the TV guide, it did not have Dynamite for its normal time slot for 7 o'clock. It had for earlier in the day. I call bullshit on that for why people didn't want to tune into Dynamite. I mean, I know there was I think there was MLB playoffs going on during that time on Wednesday. I don't know. I'm not really a huge baseball guy. I follow my teams I like. I like the Chicago Cubs. I like the Rangers. But I can't tell you the people who are on the fucking team. I can't tell you that. I'm not gonna lie. Can't tell you the people on the fucking team. But I always supported him. I always supported him ever since I was like, since I was like 10 years old. I was like, okay, well, let me, I know my basketball team. I know my football team, for NFL and NBA. Okay, who's my MLB team? Okay, I hate the Houston Astros because I hate all Houston sports teams because they're the devil. And, if you live in Houston, you are the devil to me. I don't like you. Okay, people in Houston are not bad, but your sports teams are, That's another story for another day. But the point I was gonna get to is that, I didn't even know the point I was gonna get to. Honestly, I was just going on a tangent there. But basically, tribalism in wrestling, and you can root for your own sports teams and all that. But that was the point. The MLB playoffs, right? So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if Dynamite's ratings had a account towards the MLB playoffs. I know AT&T and Spectrum apparently had issues with the guide. So I think that's an excuse because of Dynamite. They did not promote it. They did not, because a lot of these fans are on Twitter. A lot of these AEW fans are on Twitter. A lot of these AEW fans are in the know. They pay attention to stuff like that on if Dynamite's going to get moved. And the fact that they did not do any announcement or anything like that. We knew it wasn't going to get moved. I can't tell you why it was such a drop. I can't tell you why there was such a drop and why Edge didn't at least get to close to $1 million. There may be a lot of things behind it. I don't know. But Dynamite had 800,000 viewers, while NXT had 857,000 viewers on Tuesday. 2 different nights. Let's start there. 2 different nights. Now, AEW's rating demographic, the 18 to 49 demographic, which is the most important, and we'll talk about that in a second, was a 0.28, while NXT's 18 to 49 demo was a 0.22. Similar, close, but the reason why a lot of people look at the demo as well is because that's what television companies look at as far as what ads. One, A is for the ads too, the advertisement, but also B, it is for negotiation tactics. It is for negotiation tactics. It is for, hey, during this time frame, during your tenure, you average let's say a 0.3 rating. I'm just going to throw that number out there, a 0.3 rating. Hey, we can offer you this as an extension. They can offer them either more TV time. They can offer them a bigger contract, when they want to renew their contract, even more money. They can offer them a second show if necessary. I'm pretty sure there's options like that. So that goes a part of not just the viewers, but also the rating as well. And the rating is more important to TV companies nowadays versus the viewership, because the viewership is always skewed due to streams, due to on-demand content, things of that nature, right? So that's why they really look at the 18 to 49 demo. So that's pretty important as well. I'm not gonna poo-poo and shoo-shoo around that. And both ratings for both shows are good. NXT viewership 857,000 is good. Good for them. They beat Dynamite technically this week, right? AEW 800,000 viewers. That's not how there normally is, right? Typically, they're a little bit more, not a lot more, but they're never this low. They have been this low before many times, but as of late, they've been, more of a respectable range. But, at the end of the day, this AEW versus WWE, NXT next week. I expect NXT to be AEW. I have it at 1.2 million for NXT. I may be wrong. It depends what's happening on the show. If it's just stale, it's a stale show, then they're not going to get 1.2. But if everything hits the way that's supposed to, it will be at 1.2 million. It will be at 1.2 million for next week's NXT. AEW, on the other hand, I'm seeing it being close to maybe in the 700s, 700,000, 725,000, something like that, 750,000. The wide range may be, they may be too wide of a range, but that's just my prediction. I don't know for sure. I think John Cena and Cody and Asuka and Dom Mysterio, the Judgment Day, is going to be there. Who knows? Who knows? We may have a Money Bank cash in on NXT. I wouldn't understand why Damian Priest will go after the NXT Championship, but you never know. They may tease that. Just so they can try to get anybody and everybody to come and watch the show. I expect Ilya Dragunov to wrestle. They haven't announced that yet. I expect, I expect to see, like I said, Becky Lynch as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. Tony Khan, Shawn Michaels, they're going to have to put on 2 great shows next week. AEW, I know for a fact, will end up being a good show just from the wrestling alone. They always have great wrestling, right? They have the best roster in wrestling when it comes to pro wrestlers, right? As far as high range and dynamic matches, they have the best roster. It just is what it is, right? Not saying that AEW has the best roster, period. I'm saying when it comes to the in-ring roster, except for the women's division, I think WWE has the best women's division, period. But when it comes to the in-ring stuff for the men, they have a better roster for that. WWE has a better roster, period. Now, WWE has a better roster as far as in-ring and promos and, presentation and all that stuff. So yeah. Next Tuesday is going to be a doozy, guys. Next Tuesday is going to be a doozy. So, moving on. Let's talk about WWE Fastlane. WWE Fastlane is this Saturday, tomorrow night, live from the Indianapolis, Indiana, in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Used to be called the Conseco Fieldhouse, where the Indiana Pacers play. And as of right now, we have 5 matches on the card. Yeah, we have 5 matches on the card. And I expect at least a 6 match to get at it. This seems more like a SmackDown show rather than a Raw show. The last show was more like a Raw show. Payback. Yeah, Payback was more like a Raw show. Fastlane is more like a SmackDown show. Because they have more SmackDown matches on here. Even though I think that I think the tag team match is gonna be main event. But let's go through the matches here, and we'll talk about it, and we'll go with our predictions, and we'll talk about each match. First match here I got listed is a tag team match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. We got Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, the challengers, versus the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. My question is why and how are Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles? I understand people, they got to put them on the show. Like, I get that. I understand that. Like, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. But why and how did they deserve a number 1 contendership for the tag team titles is Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso? What did they do? Who did they beat? Nobody. They didn't beat anybody. What I would have done is we could just done a 8-man tag. An 8-man tag of the Judgment Day, including Dom Mysterio and JD McDonough, right? Who's not part of Judgment Day, but you guys know what I'm saying. Versus Cody, Jay, Sammy, and Kevin. And what I would have done here is I would have had the Judgment Day win with the help of JD McDonough to Damian Priest, saving Damian Priest in some aspect. Damian Priest was going to tap out or something, or get pinned or something. And JD McDonough saves him. And JD McDonough will be the reason why Judgment Day picks up the win. So that way, whenever Survivor Series happens, the Judgment Day can go into Survivor Series with heat. They could go in with heat, and it looks like the babyfaces, it looks like they need something to even the odds, right? Or maybe even Rhea Ripley gets involved. Maybe Rhea Ripley gets involved, cost, the babyface team the match here, and you could have the Survivor Series War Games match to keep Rhea Ripley out, because Rhea Ripley is always the handicap to any team or anybody in any situation. So if you would do this 8-man tag and have Judgment Day win with the assistance of Rhea Ripley, that'll give a reason to a War Games match to keep Rhea Ripley out, and also to build up even more heat for the match as well. So I don't like this idea for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. I think it's lazy. I think it's something that WWE could do better on, and it's just a reason to get Cody and Jey Uso on the show. Even though they 100% deserve to be on the show, it's just a lazy way to get them there. So, with that being said, I'm torn between this here, but I am going to go with the Judgment Day. And, I've been back and forth on this all week, but I am going to go with the Judgment Day, simply because of the fact that you could go with the Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso thing, where they have, the get out of jail free card to go to SmackDown to SmackDown. But I really think that we may have something cooking up sooner rather than later with Cody Rhodes. We'll see, though. But the Judgment Day gets the win. We have next match here, a 6-man tag. It says a 6-man tag here. As of right now, I'm seeing it as an 8-man tag, but I am going to go through several scenarios here why I think can happen. One of these most likely will happen. We have the LWO, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro with Zelina Vega versus the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. So, the way that they're advertising it, they're showing 4-on-3. I'm thinking this should be an 8-man tag. And what they're doing right now with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, it looks like they officially turned heel. What will be the best way to really make a mark with this individual than to call up Carmelo Hayes? Officially call Carmelo Hayes to the main roster, not exclusively yet because he still has some work to do down there in NXT with Trick Williams. But start having him doing double duty, double dipping between the main roster and NXT. Call up Carmelo Hayes, have him join this new group as a heel, and it'll be dynamic for them. It'll be dynamic for them, if so. Now, with that being said, Carmelo had a conversation with John Cena on the phone on NXT, and it looks like Melo was going down that dark hole. I don't want to see Carmelo be babyface one night and heel the next night from the main roster NXT, because it's just like, okay, well, what called for it? Like, what changes demeanor between, it will be Sunday so he'll go from heel to face. So what would change that demeanor? It will look dumb. It will look stupid. Do I expect, WWE explain that? I do not give them the benefit of the doubt on it. They showed us for years that they don't give a damn at times between the continuity between NXT and the main roster. They don't. So, do I expect them to explain it? No, honestly. But if they explain it in a way where it will make sense, will I accept it? Yeah, probably. Probably so. So, Carmelo Hayes, I won't say I expect him, but do not count out the possibility that Carmelo Hayes will be debuting with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley on Sunday, or on Saturday, rather. Do not count that out. Now, the other scenario I was going to bring up, and this is possibly the most likely scenario. This is the scenario that I think that is most likely going to happen. It is going to be a 6-man tag. It is going to be Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and Dragon Lee. This is the most likely scenario due to the fact that Dragon Lee is going to have his SmackDown debut tonight against Austin Theory. And it looks like they've been using, Dragon Lee on the main roster recently. He wasn't on NXT on Tuesday, so is this a call-up? We don't know as of yet. I don't know if this is an actual call-up or not. But having him with Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar it just makes sense. This will give a reason to whenever Santos turns heel, you can still have somebody there in the LWO like Dragon Lee that they can build up. Right now, Santos is being built up to win the United States Championship, and that's great. Great for him. He fucking deserves it. Deserves that and even more. This will be a great replacement for Dragon Lee, who is looked at as the next Rey Mysterio, not the next Sin Cara. Because Sin Cara was looked at as the next Rey Mysterio, and Kalisto was looked at as the next Rey Mysterio. So, let's do it again. Let's do it again with Dragon Lee. But I think Dragon Lee, to me, I won't say he's necessarily better than Kalisto. I think that he connects to the audience better as of right now than Kalisto. And also Kalisto was handicapped with the Vince McMahon administration. This is more of the Triple H administration. Even though Vince is still there in the background, still there in the background, right? So, But this is more of a Triple H administration. So I think that's going to be the match. Wherever the match is going to be, I got the Street Profits winning. Street Profits and Bobby Lashley winning. They just turned heel. You are kind of book yourself into a corner because you're going to bring up Dragon Lee, and Dragon Lee will be losing here. Not necessarily taking a pinfall. I think Santos Escobar is taking the pinfall. I think Santos Escobar is taking the pinfall here, and that will even drive a bigger wedge between Rey Mysterio, Santos, and Santos Escobar. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen there. So, should be a good match regardless. Moving on, we got Io Sky versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair triple threat match for the women's championship, WWE Women's Championship. Got Io Sky winning. Got her pinning Asuka. Don't know why Charlotte Flair's out there. Charlotte Flair's a great wrestler. Not going to take that away from her. Don't understand why Charlotte Flair deserves this match. You know what I mean? It's just because she's Charlotte Flair. But, you know, I always say, you know, you should be using other women. But SmackDown, you know, I'll give Charlotte some slack. SmackDown women's roster is crap right now. They don't have a full women's roster. I want to see, you know, hopefully Tiffany Stratton comes on over to SmackDown because Jade Cargill apparently looks like she may be going to Raw. She's also going to be at Fastlane this weekend as well. So I don't know if she's going to be there as far as a appearance on TV or if she's going to interrupt in this match. I don't know. If she's going to be on Raw, why does she going to need to be entertaining thing on SmackDown? Is it because that they want to show that she's dominant? I don't know. But I could certainly see a Jade Cargill spot with Bayley. You know, her doing Jaded to Bayley. I could certainly see that. But I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. But back to Charlotte Flair. Give Charlotte Flair a little slack because there is not a lot of women on this show. You know what I mean? Yeah, she got Mia Yim and Io Sky and Asuka and, you know, and Bayley and an injured Dakota Kai. You know, you got Scarlett, who's not really an in-ring wrestler. I think she only had one match, which was a few weeks ago on SmackDown. I think that was her very first match in WWE. So you don't have a lot of women. You don't at all. But you know, they need to balance out these rosters a little bit better. Getting Tiffany Stratton over there will be a huge boost to SmackDown. As of Jade Cargill, you know, it could be going to Raw, and not to mention Bianca Belair is on SmackDown too as well. So, and Bianca Belair is probably not going to be coming back probably till maybe Rumble season. I don't know. We'll see. But I expect Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair to face off against each other at WrestleMania. So, but Io Sky's winning, pinning Asuka. Next, we have the last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I mentioned on on Tuesday that their segment between each other was great. It was fantastic. And they're really trying to sell the fact that Seth may lose this World Heavyweight Championship. With that being said, Shinsuke Nakamura is not winning. The only way I think that Shinsuke is gonna win is that if these rumors with Japan, not Japan overall, but not Japan as a country, but Pro Wrestling Noah and WWE come together in some sort of relationship, and we know that Shinsuke Nakamura earlier this year wrestled on the first of it was still earlier this year, guys, on the very first day of January. So technically it was earlier this year. He wrestled the Great Muta in Pro Wrestling Noah. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that Pro Wrestling Noah is on Abema and WWE is going to be on Abema, I'm going to keep pushing that narrative because no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it as far as this personal relationship. So, I would not count out Shinsuke Nakamura winning. If they want to do a Jinder Mahal type situation, not say that Shinsuke Nakamura and Jinder Mahal is the same person, because they're certainly not. Shinsuke Nakamura is 100 times a better wrestler, a better talent overall than Jinder Mahal. Not say that Jinder Mahal sucks, but you can't compare apples to oranges. You just can't do that when Shinsuke Nakamura and Jinder Mahal. What I'm saying is that, they may treat Shinsuke Nakamura as a Jinder Mahal as far as trying to use him as the WWE champion, or in this case, the World Heavyweight champion, to further push the promotion narrative for WWE in Japan, and for also as well to possibly have that relationship between Pro Wrestling Noah and WWE. But I am officially going with Seth Rollins to win this match. I'm officially going with him to win the last man standing match, because a lot of times in my history, you don't see the babyface lose a last man standing match. This is usually a babyface match. 9 times out of 10, the heels lose this match. Really the only heel I can think of from the top of my head right now that has won a last man standing match in the last several years in WWE is Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. Forgot what takeover it was, but it was a last man standing match, and I think it was for the NXT Championship as well that Ciampa defeated Gargano. So should be a great match. This match has the most heat this program has the most heat as it does right now, so it should be a great match. In your main event, which I think it should be the main event, I think it is going to be a main event, is the Bloodline versus John Cena and LA Knight. John Cena needs to call in some backup. Is like Hogan calling in Typhoon. Okay, probably not as that's probably not the equivalent, but it's kind of like John Cena, calling in the young and up and coming. Like Hulk Hogan calling the young and up and coming the Ultimate Warrior. I don't know, but regardless, though, I got the babyfaces win. You're gonna have Jimmy Uso doing something stupid, thinking something that he is Roman Reigns when he's not. He thinks he is the tribal chief. That's what he thinks, but in reality, he's not right now. And I really think that he's gonna do something that's gonna cost the match for Solo Sikoa, and that's gonna drive that bigger wedge between Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and the rest of the Bloodline. Well, that is the Bloodline right now because Jey Uso is not there. Now, question is, do I think that the Bloodline and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are gonna have some interaction with each other? Possibly, because Cody and Jey are on SmackDown tonight as well. That's one thing a lot of people are forgetting about, is getting lost in translation for this weekend, because we have a lot of news in reference to this NXT versus AEW thing. So I think that is getting lost in translation, because that came out on Monday Night Raw, that Jey and Cody is going to be on SmackDown. So a lot of people are forgetting about that. A lot of people are more focused on NXT, where it's like, holy crap, like NXT is going to have Cody and John Cena and, on that show. So we'll see. I got the babyface team winning. Now, rumor is right now, it was, as of yesterday, was supposed to be John Cena versus Roman Reigns for Saudi. I'd rather see that than LA Knight and Roman Reigns. I know we're going to get that match coming with LA Knight and Roman Reigns. I just think it's too soon to have that done with LA Knight. For my reasons, I already talked about that already. You can check out past streams from this week that I talked about that. But we'll see. The babyface team is going to win. And we'll see where this leads to going into the Saudi show. Because I think the Saudi show is the next show. I think. What's the next show? The next show, yeah. So the next show is Crown Jewel. So then after that it's Survivor Series. So Crown Jewel, which is going to be on November the 4th. So they got a whole month to tell a story and try to build up whatever story that they want to do with Roman Reigns going into that event. But yeah, just to recap, I got the Judgment Day retaining the Tag Team Championship. I got the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, whatever combination with that. I got them winning. I got Io Sky winning, and I got Seth Rollins defeating Shinsuke Nakamura, and I got the babyface team of John Cena and LA Knight defeating the Bloodline in the main event. So let me know what you guys' thoughts about that. Leave a comment down below on this YouTube video, or Yeah, if you agree with me on Spotify or Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. Speaking of 5 stars, that was a good segment, and that was unintentional too, by the way. Dave Meltzer star ratings. I appreciate Dave Meltzer. I really do. Even though I kind of make light of his jokes, of his star ratings on my T-shirts in a joking way. It's nothing ill will, you know what I mean? But sometimes I won't say he is biased. He is biased a little bit, but sometimes he just gets stuff wrong, in my opinion at least, on the star rating system. And without Dave Meltzer, he's one of the pioneers that let to us have an opinion on social media. People don't realize that. You know what I mean? So he was one of the first main ones to write articles and give opinions on matches, and it was just done on in magazine form, in newsletter form, versus today, where you still have the newsletter or whatnot, but now is mostly like us on the internet doing podcasts like this, or on Twitter or whatnot. So let's talk about the star ratings. We're gonna go from the highest star rated match all the way down to the lowest star rating match, as far as what I have here. And all the star rated matches here are at least 4.5 stars. We're gonna say that. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. at AEW Wrestle Dream. This was definitely at least a 5-star match, and I'm not going to dispute this at all. I thought this was I like the Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes match a little bit more, not a lot more, but a little bit more. I thought both of these were 5 stars. I thought both were 5-star matches, but I don't disagree with this. Meltzer gave it a 5.5-star match. Understand? It was a fantastic match. And if you don't like that style, that's fine. But you can't dispute it wasn't a great match. Like, if you say, oh, this was a bad match, that's not true. It was not a bad match at all. Not even the slightest. You are on drugs if you think this was a bad match. If you didn't like as much as Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes, as I stated, that's fine. But it wasn't a bad match. It's kind of like, that's chocolate ice cream. Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes may be vanilla. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, he just made like chocolate ice cream better than the vanilla ice cream. So, Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov NXT Championship. This one here is this one here I don't agree with. Their last match was 4 3/4 stars. So one more quarter star, it will be a 5-star match. That was their last match that they had at Great American Bash. This one here is 4 3/4 as well. So this match, according to Dave Meltzer, is the same in quality as their Great American Bash match. And their Great American Bash match was fantastic. But this match, to me, I won't say blew it out of the water, but it was significantly better. And if it was significantly better, it should be at least 5 stars. At least. I will be okay if it's just 5 stars. It didn't need to be 5.5 or 5 1/4. It didn't need to be all that. But I think that says as of right now, NXT doesn't get the respect from all the major outlets, as far as not necessarily match ratings, but NXT doesn't really get that full respect. JD from NY, just gotta use him as an example. He watches NXT. I watch his podcast. He watches NXT. He knows the talent that's there. He knows that he knows how great the wrestlers are down there. He doesn't watch it every week. He doesn't. Let me backtrack. He doesn't cover it every week. He doesn't cover it at all. He only covers the major shows, like the TV specials and the pay-per-views. That's totally fine. So, that's his prerogative. And again, he's a guy that may prefers more strawberry to his ice cream rather than vanilla, right? And he's a black and gold guy. So am I as well. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, you got to go to the YouTube podcast and see. I'm wearing the NXT Fatal 4-Way t-shirt. Like, I get it. Black and gold. I totally get it. Totally get it. Totally understand it. But, just guys like him, he doesn't cover it every week. Doesn't mean he doesn't watch it. Meltzer, I'm pretty sure he watches some of it. Brian Alvarez, I'll give you a good example. Brian Alvarez said that he prefers this match a little bit more over the Wrestle Dream match between Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. All I'm saying is both deserve 5-star matches. You cannot tell me that this match here of Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov is on the same quality of their Great American Bash match because it was the same star rating. If so, like you just can't think that because it wasn't that. So according to your scale, Meltzer, this should at least be a 5-star match. Go pick up your star ratings match from SpineBusterTees and SpineBusterTees.com. I'm just saying. So with that being said, Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page also got a 4 3/4 star. If Ilya and Carmelo would have gotten 5 stars, I would not be so bummed about this. This match is at least a 4.5 star match, at least. The fact that it's got 4 3/4 stars is correct. This one is correct. Ilya and Carmelo is not correct, in my opinion. Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch, Extreme Rules match for the NXT Championship at No Mercy. This one got 4.5 stars. I agree. I didn't think it was a 5-star match. It wasn't a 5-star match. I don't think this is the best women's match of the year. It is certainly top 3. Maybe the second best women's match of the year. I just think Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, what they did at WrestleMania was magic. And, the grander stage and all that, I thought was just simply magic. I thought that was a 5-star. He gave that 4 3/4. But I thought that was a 5-star match. I thought this one's, to me, I thought he was spot on. 4.5 stars. It was just literally a fantastic women's match. I don't think it was a 5-star match, though. In my personal opinion. I may be wrong, in my personal opinion. But one thing I will say is that he rated another women's match higher. No, it wasn't an AEW match. No. It was a starter match. Now, I will say this. Stardom itself is a really, really great, to me, is the best women's wrestling promotion in the world, honestly. But I think that WWE has the best roster as far as stars and stars that we know. But that's just me because I know a few women from Japan, right? Julia, Mina Shikawa. There's a lot of women there, right? Obviously, Kairi's there too as well. Zuzu Suzuki, right? That's one as well. And this is actually a match of hers too. So there are a lot of women there that I know about. But as far as the total amount of women and the how deep the women's roster is, in my opinion, I think WWE and NXT clear Stardom. But again, I don't know every woman on the Stardom roster. But this match here between Maika and Zuzu Suzuki got 4 3/4 stars from Dave Meltzer. This is at the Stardom 5-star GP 2023 final. Look, I'm not going to dispute that because I didn't see the match. I'm pretty sure it was a great match. And there's a lot of women. You got to think about it, too. If you look at women like, Io Sky and Kairi and Asuka, just how they move in the ring and how they perfect moves and how they make things look realistic when they're wrestling, and why, for example, Asuka and Io had, possibly the best TV women's match of the year on TV on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. You could tell that what they learned in Japan, like what they did there in Japan, what they learned in Japan, is far more better and efficient than what we see from women here in the United States. Not to say the women in the United States can't go, but it's just like you could clearly see that gap. So the fact that these women are from Stardom and from Japan, I can imagine that gap as well between, let's say, a Zuzu Suzuki or a Tam Nakano, right? I forgot about Tam Nakano too. Jesus, like, sorry, Lord, Tam Nakano. You know what I mean? Who's freaking great as well. So like, if I were to see like a Tam Nakano match, versus, let's say, who's good, who's developing, Thea Hale, I don't think that's fair to compare. Let's say Gigi Dolan. Gigi Dolan, she's been wrestling for a while, right? But she didn't get that really good experience in Japan. I know she's been in Japan, but she did not really get that great experience in Japan like someone who was born and bred there. So, I don't know if I fully agree with this 4 3/4 stars, but I don't know if I can't say that he's wrong too at the same time. I have to watch the match. That's all I have to say. I have to watch the match. So there's that. And the last match that we have here is Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. 2 out of 3 falls for the TNT Championship. 4.5 stars. I agree with this. I don't see why people were so down on the match for some reason. Because of the spots. Yeah, the spots were stupid. But despite what we think about the spots or not, it made the match more exciting. Even though I hate to see Darby Allin go through that, it made the match more exciting. So we got a great 5-star moment as well, but that's not for the match itself. So that was Dave Meltzer's star ratings, and I didn't see anything on Gunther versus Tommaso Ciampa on Raw. Oh, actually, I have it here. My bad. That one got 4.5 stars. Fair. That's very fair. For a TV match with commercial breaks, very fair. That makes me want to see it on pay-per-view. That's very fair. So, yeah. So, Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa got 4.5 stars. That's very fair. That is your Meltzer star ratings for this week. Moving on. We got some news on CM Punk. Again, this is coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and Dave Meltzer came out this morning. Dave Meltzer says this: there's obviously tons of talks regarding CM Punk returning. There have been rumors that it's happening, but those in WWE have only said that no deal is completed, and those close to Punk have told us that it is his intention to return. And the two sides are in talks. One expect if such a deal is made that Survivor Series weekend in Chicago will be the time to do the surprise return. CM Punk's back. See, they're gonna get this deal done. They're just holding it out right now. They're gonna get this deal done. Rather if it's gonna be a multi-year deal, I don't know. It should be. Definitely should be. Should be a multi-year deal. 3 years, 4 years, tops. That's it. But time heals all wounds. Macho Man Randy Savage was on the way back to WWE, and I certainly 100% believe that because he had the video game deal with WWE Superstars. He had the merchandise deal for Mattel with the WWE Defining Moments, right? The original Defining Moments leak figures. You had the Macho Man Randy Savage. You have the Ultimate Warrior, who was put into the Hall of Fame right before he passed away. Bret the Hitman Hart. Jim Jarrett came back. You know what I mean? Time heals all wounds. Everybody comes back to the WWE in some fashion. Period. It just is what it is. And with Punk coming back and saying that, I'll never work for this company again. Obviously, you're going to say that in the moment. Obviously, you're going to say that when you're mad. We know that CM Punk is stubborn, as am I. I'm a very stubborn person, super stubborn. But you cannot deny the fact that CM Punk returning at Survivor Series in Chicago will be the biggest return maybe of all time. And the reason why I'm saying that, it may be bigger than Edge or bigger than The Rock or bigger than, whoever else you want to name, is because of how CM Punk treated WWE after he left. Talking about, the doctors, the way he was treated, the way he got fired on his wedding day and all that. And all that. This to me will be the biggest return in WWE history. Just because this was the biggest far, left to right on how far they were apart to me. I think this was further than The Warrior. I think this was further than Macho Man. I think the closest one to this was probably Bret Hart. But Bret Hart, it only took Bret Hart to come back in 9 years. 1997 to 2006. He came back at the Hall of Fame. He got inducted into the 2006 WWE Hall of Fame. So 9 years. Less than that, technically, because he left in, November 97, Survivor Series 97, and came back around WrestleMania season. And he wasn't back, but you guys know what I mean. He was more in the good graces of the company where he could do the Hall of Fame and where he could be put into video games and, things like that. But CM Punk has been gone since 2011. No, sorry, 2013. Sorry, not 2011. Just kidding. 2013. It's been 10 years. It's been over 10 years. Or 2014. Sorry, 2014. It's almost been 10 years. So regardless, CM Punk, who left at Rumble 2014, could be on his way back to WWE. It's happening. It's going to happen in some fashion. If it doesn't happen at Survivor Series, I think that's a huge mistake for WWE and CM Punk not getting that deal done. But it's happening. I know CM Punk, he doesn't want to rush this. He wants what he was owed. He's owed a WrestleMania main event. He's definitely owed that. And the fact that whether it was a night 1 or night 2, most likely a night 1, he's owed that. He's owed a WrestleMania main event. The last match, as he says, no, the last match is the main event. He's definitely owed that for sure. So we'll see where this goes. But with CM Punk being gone for, nearly 10 years and coming back to the WWE, it creates a dynamic of matches. It creates CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. That's happening. It creates CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. That will be happening. It creates CM Punk versus the LA Knight. That's happening. It creates a CM Punk versus a John Cena. You think John Cena will probably want to give one more go get CM Punk? I think so. It creates a CM Punk versus a Jey Uso. CM Punk versus Shinsuke Nakamura. CM Punk versus Carmelo Hayes. Braun Breaker. Ilya Dragunov. Gunther. It creates all of that. CM Punk versus Grayson Waller. Wouldn't that put over Grayson Waller? Would he want to put over Austin Theory? Just great stuff. It's the same thing that happened in AEW, and we didn't get all the matches that we could have in AEW either. We missed the CM Punk versus the one-on-one versus Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? It's like the Young Bucks, and we missed all of that. But hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. The main reason why CM Punk will be coming back to WWE is to stick it to AEW. He really thinks that. He probably thinks that after leaving AEW, he's like, okay, WWE was. I mean, yeah, CM Punk's life was on the line, but I think maybe. I honestly don't think that CM Punk blames Triple H and Vince McMahon and actual management. I think he blames more like the doctors or whatnot. Yes, he wasn't happy with creative as well, but I think he can see now that things are in a better place in WWE now. Things are in a better place now in WWE than it was 10 years ago. because we were getting out of that era of, we were still out of there because we were fairly more into the PG era. But it looks like now WWE has more money. They're taking care of themselves. They have better facilities now. They didn't have the Performance Center back then. You know what I mean? Punk could go down to the Performance Center. This is great stuff, man. CM Punk versus Randy Orton. That's another one I forgot to as well. There's a lot of rehash of matches and new matches that CM Punk can do in WWE. But, man, you know, it's getting very exciting, man. It's getting very exciting for not only for CM Punk, but for WWE and AEW as well. So keep you up to date on that news. Moving on here, we got some other short news and notes, and we're calling it a stream, and we're calling it a podcast, and we're calling it a week. John Cena. It was confirmed that Roman Reigns versus John Cena is not the match plan for WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. It could be one of 3 matches. It could be Roman Reigns versus John Cena. It could be Roman Reigns versus LA Knight, which I don't want to see. Or the match that I think that it should be, and that it should be for Saudi Arabia. And I think that it will get us, to the Survivor Series, as far as, maybe you could do John Cena and Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, possibly, I don't know. But what about Roman Reigns and AJ Styles? AJ Styles got taken out. He still has beef with the Bloodline. Why not AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns? I'll be totally fine with that. We know AJ's not going to win. Love AJ Styles, but AJ deserves that spotlight. You know what I mean? AJ's been, in mid-card purgatory for the last year. So I think that having AJ and that situation in Saudi will give him a nice little boost. Even though that he's not going to win, but it'll give him a nice little boost. You know what I mean? But as right now, Roman Reigns versus John Cena is not the match plan for WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And that's again coming from Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Moving on. Speaking of Dave Meltzer, this is from yesterday. Sammy Guevara got a concussion on pay-per-view at WrestleDream is what happened. So he's out until it's a concussion story. Could be next week. Could be. Who knows? But yeah, he's out. That's how Dave Meltzer talks. Well, I mean, he talks like this. I have no issue against Dave Meltzer. But it's just kind of funny how he talks. That's all. But yeah, Sammy Guevara. Hopefully he's fine. He just turned heel against Chris Jericho and this new character for him as well. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully he'll be back soon because he is in now he's in this role here that I think is the most important of his career. His biggest opportunity of his career is right here. So hopefully he's back sooner than later. And and that should tell everyone that he should slow down. I don't know where he got concussed on. He didn't really do anything too crazy, to be honest, in the match in the 6-man tag at WrestleDream. But we know how crazy Sammy Guevara is, and luckily it wasn't on like a shooting star press to the outside, and he hit his head on the concrete on the outside. I don't know, but hopefully he is he's okay. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he returns back soon. So goodwill, Sammy Guevara. Adam Copeland on new match possibilities now that he's joined AEW. Adam Copeland says with Sports Illustrated, I never wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom. I never wrestled at Tokyo Dome. How about a match against Kazuchika Okada? That would be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited by that. Will we see Adam Copeland at Wrestle Kingdom? If I am New Japan and if I'm AEW and Tony Khan, I'm getting Adam Copeland on that show. If it's against Okada, great. I just don't think that's in the plans. I don't think that's in the plans. Maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe this year they may want to do. because Okada's owed a match from Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson is going to be facing off against, Zack Sabre Jr. again. I don't know. So maybe instead of Bryan Danielson for Okada, he gets Adam Copeland Edge. I'll be fine with that. I'll watch that match. I'll be cool with that. 100%. That's a dream match right there. That's definitely a dream match because you never thought you'd ever see Adam Copeland in the Tokyo Dome against, Okada, or as in I will never think I will ever see Okada, in a big American stand for WrestleMania versus Adam Copeland. So I'm down for that match. I'm definitely down for that match. I would like to see it for sure. So let me know what you guys thoughts about that down there in the comment section there for possibly Adam Copeland versus Kazuchika Okada. But Adam Copeland wants it, and I would love to see it. Couple more news stories here. 2 more news stories left here. Jim Ross news here. His AEW contract is either up or about to be up and is still working as they negotiate a deal. It's supposed to be up in September. Very short news story here. WWE announced on NXT for this week a special commentator is going to be there live and in person. If it was Michael Cole, they would just announce it as Michael Cole. Because why would they have to say special guest commentator? It could be Jim Ross. It could be Jim Ross. If his contract was supposed to be up in September, that means he has a no compete. If it was up in September. If it was not up in September, let's say, his contract ends on October the 14th, then we're not going to see Jim Ross. We're not. But I honestly think that it will be Michael Cole, but do not count out Jim Ross showing up for NXT and calling one match. Because at the end of the day, Jim Ross in WWE, that's his home. This is his second home. AEW. It's a home still, but it's his second home. WWE is always going to be, solidified with Jim Ross. And Jim Ross. No one can escape that. They still use part of his commentary in some promo packages in WWE. There's no ill will with WWE and Jim Ross. You know what I mean? I hope he calls his last match in WWE. It will only make sense. I don't want to hear his last match in AEW for some AEW, even though he can't go as the way he used to as well. So I understand why they don't put him on pay-per-view for the long haul. But have him call one match. Have him call one match in NXT and have him call one last match in WWE. If his contract's up, if he is going back to WWE, I don't know. I just think he respects Tony Khan more than just I'm just gonna go down here and do this. So I think he respects Tony Khan more than that, in my opinion. In our last news story today, and I actually watched this live on Twitch last night as well, and part of me still think that this is a work. It's just the nature in me. It's not that I don't believe Adam Cole. It's not that I don't believe Tony Khan and AEW, what they say about Adam Cole. It's just a pro wrestling fan in me. And I cannot help to think on when some things are a work and when some things are, for sure a shoot. Do I think that Adam Cole hurt his ankle? 100% for sure. I'm not going to say that. But the fact that this is on his Chugs channel on Twitch, and he says that he wants to keep wrestling and his Twitch channel, gaming channel, separate. So he's usually good about that. Now, the MJF phone call, which is possibly one of the most funny things from this year, go check that out if you haven't seen that yet, when MJF literally called Adam Cole during his Twitch, talking about, this is before they were officially a tag team. It's like, I want to do a double clothesline. Well, what about merchandise and all that stuff? So, MJF sounded pretty geeky there. Which is pretty funny. But I think that I will not put it out of the realm that Adam Cole could be doing this as a work, possibly. I don't know. But he was there for 4 hours with his leg. Apparently his leg was put up in he's on top of some books. So I don't know. In his streams, all you see is his face. You never see him, like, walk around, get up, or anything like that. All you see is his face. And it's always been that way. If it is true, I wish, 100% true. I wish it was speed recovery regardless. I wish it was speed recovery. But with that being said, he said on his Twitch, states that he's scheduled to actually go under 2 surgeries on his ankle. It is said to have 4 screws and a plate inserted as a part of recovery. State that it's the most painful injury he's ever had, and that'll be quite a while to make a full recovery and come back. Wishing a speedy recovery as always. The reason why there's no recovery as of yet, no timetable, because he hasn't had surgery yet. I don't know what's taking so long to do the surgery, because I know usually when things like this happen, don't you get surgery like the next day or within that week? It's been over a week now, or 2 weeks now rather. That it's been 2 weeks now. Yeah, since Adam Cole's injury. So what's taking so long? I'm not a medical professional, not a doctor or anything like that, but I just have to ask the question: what's taking so long for it to happen? So wish him a speedy recovery, but at the same time, I am definitely still thinking that this could be a work in some fashion. But I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, that is our podcast today. I very much so appreciate you guys coming in, stopping by, checking out the podcast here. Sorry that I missed yesterday. Really am sorry that I missed yesterday. Feel terrible about it. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, though, I really do appreciate you guys coming out here, checking me out here today. And don't forget as well to go over to my store at Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com. We have the fall sale going on right now as we speak, fall 10 at checkout. We also as well have free shipping over $40 at checkout. That's $40 before taxes, of course. At your checkout, it will automatically apply that discount there for Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com. We got the Vanilla Midget t-shirt, the Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt, the I Am Pro Wrestling t-shirt, and of course, the Star Ratings t-shirt that is very in style for today for Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com. Well, that is it, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I gotta take a shower before I go into work. Didn't take a shower last night. I know that's sneaky, but I'm taking a shower right now. So, hey, well, whatever, screw me or whatever. But anyway, guys, you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy Fastlane. See you Monday for the recap of the show. And also, subscribe on the way out. Leave a thumbs up and follow me on Instagram and X. X sucks. I can't get on my X, but follow me on Instagram. That link's down below as well. But I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day and enjoy the wrestling weekend with Fastlane. Peace!